Hello and welcome to Talking Sense, a Pittsburgh Works Together interview series featuring our region's most influential leaders. We'll get their perspectives on jobs, the economy, and other topics vital to Pittsburgh's progress. I'm Kelly Brennan, and on today's episode, I speak with special guest Amy Gatts, director of the Southwest Corner Workforce Development Board. Amy is excited to tell us more about her organization's mission, including its efforts to create a more skilled labor pool, provide job placement assistance, and expand opportunities for business partnerships. We hope you enjoy this insightful and informative discussion. Amy, thanks for joining us today. You have worn so many hats throughout your career, and before we really dive into those specifics and even the profound impact that you have made in your current position, I'd love for you to really just explain at the heart of it, what is workforce development?
Workforce development can be anything that's related to job seekers looking for a job or employers looking for those job seekers.
Okay.
And everything in between, everything around. And so we're a workforce board, and we always say workforce is a hijacked name. Everybody's in workforce. I'm going to do workforce. I'm going to do workforce. But really, if you can't connect job seekers and employers or help employers upskill their workers, you're really not doing workforce development.
So the Southwest Corner Workforce Development Board, where you are right now, services Greene, Beaver, and Washington counties. So in this region, why is workforce development so important?
Oh, well, it's important everywhere, but in our areas, so we have a lot of coal mines that are closing. We have a lot of gas and oil activity that's going on. Solar's kind of coming in. Manufacturing is really big in our three counties. So when you look at just the Southwest Corner has a lot of assets, a lot of resources, and a lot of companies that kind of use those resources. So for us, that's why, that's where our focus is really.
So if there's maybe in a way so much change going on, then how can you on an individual level help job seekers?
So what we would do is we have what I'm sure you've heard of Pennsylvania Career Link. That is a state term. So there are, not to give you too much data, but there are 67 counties. Every county has a Pennsylvania Career Link. Every Pennsylvania Career Link belongs to a workforce board.
Okay.
So as you kind of work through, while we have state regulations that we follow, they're also very individualized to our local area. So it's whatever meets our needs. So we have 4 Pennsylvania Career Links. So anybody can walk into those centers. They can come and have a resource area where they can just come in. They can sit at a computer. They can get Wi-Fi. They can do their interviews. They can do whatever they need to do there. It's open to the public. And then also within there, we have all these partners. So we have OVR, we have schools, we have us, we have everybody that has a resource. So if that person is looking to go to school, if they're looking for transportation, childcare, whatever they're looking for, there's somebody in that office that would be able to help them. So when a job seeker comes in, we're not just trying to get them to work, although that is our goal.
Yeah.
We want to help remove all of those barriers that are maybe keeping them from getting there. And that's what a Pennsylvania Career Link is, what they call one-stop shop.
Is that a place that someone can just come and walk right through the door as a walk-in, or are we calling and scheduling an appointment ahead of time?
You can do either.
Okay.
You can do either. Most people generally walk in because sometimes they're not sure what they're looking for.
Sure.
And they can come in and when they log in, and we do collect their data and try to track them and make sure we're getting them to the right people. And they come in, they log in, it will automatically send an email to whatever they're asking for. So if they're asking for school, it'll be sent to all of our schools and our Title I provider, which would then help pay for school. If they're looking for OVR, an email would be sent to them. So they can walk in and really get what they're looking for.
So on the flip side then, what about employer services? If an employer comes to you wanting help, how are you making these connections with them?
So what happens with our employers, generally they don't come to our Pennsylvania Career Links. They will reach out to the board. We'll go and we'll meet with them. We'll try to figure out what their needs are. Then we'll get them registered onto what's called the Commonwealth Workforce Development System, which is a housing unit for everybody, all job seekers, all employers. So if they're listing jobs, we'll list their jobs for them. So when you come in and look, you could kind of see them on there. But we also are really individualized for our employers. We'll do hiring events. We'll do on-site events. We'll, screen people for them. If they want to come into our center on a certain day and interview people, they can do that on site. Or we can collect the information, kind of weed them out, because sometimes we get some people that definitely are not, shouldn't be applying for the jobs. So we always tell them we can be an extra arm of their HR if they want, just to try and help them find people. And our services don't cost anything, so they don't pay anything. I mean, it's taxed on me, but they don't pay anything.
Then the same question in terms of payment for individuals coming as a job seeker. Are they paying anything to be part of the career?
No. It's all, our services are all paid for by the Workforce Innovation and Opportunity Act and then whatever state funding that we have. So it's part of the budget.
Okay. And I know we have so many, the younger generation, high school students, those who are in college currently and are looking for a job. How are you tailoring services to kind of that up and coming workforce?
So when it comes to the kids that are still in high school or maybe getting ready to graduate, we're working with the schools directly. So we hold roundtables where we bring our guidance counselors and employers together and they talk about where's the gap, or how do we match up or how do we find you? And then we're also hosting things for the kids. So we run a summer program. Actually, all the workforce boards, I think, run a summer program. And you're placing them in jobs that they think they might be interested in just to kind of give them a taste. It's about 6 weeks. 32 and a half hours a week, and they make, depending on, you can make up to $15 an hour. So
okay.
Gives them a little bit of work experience. It gives the employer a chance to see if they might want to hire somebody, because a lot of our employers will pay for the education if they stay. We have so much of that we encourage kids, don't look at it like I'm not going to school. Find that alternate way to have somebody pay for it. So if you can start working and then somebody will pay for your education, that happens a lot through the building and construction trades. That happens a lot through our manufacturers. Well, they'll bring them on and they can kind of go.
So you finish debt free. And
yes, 100%.
It's one of the big topics that we talk about with Pittsburgh Works Together is family sustaining jobs.
Yes.
So I imagine that is part of your mission, right?
Yes.
So that people can go on and live a life where they have that work-life balance. You're finding that then.
Yeah. And with our guidelines, that's kind of one of the things that we have to do. So every year, the Pennsylvania will tell us what in our area, what are those wages. So this year it's $42,000, I believe. So anytime that we're placing somebody, we're looking for occupations where they have the potential to earn that $42,000 to be a self-sustaining wage.
Okay.
So that changes, obviously, but
taking those youth, especially who are looking for a career path in the near future, even for them and also for companies, where are you seeing maybe the biggest job opportunities or growth to be in the near future?
So I don't know about growth, but I think one of the biggest opportunities in Pennsylvania is the building and construction industry. I mean, there are infrastructure dollars from President Biden. Pennsylvania received a lot of those. They have the governor has a Commonwealth workforce training program that he wants to do, where he'll give so much money to each company. They can take up to 10 people, $40,000 a person, up to $400,000. And those are all kind of related to construction infrastructure. So bridges, buildings, all those structures and everything. So I would say building and construction, but also manufacturing is and healthcare. Healthcare really took a turn. They lost a lot of people during COVID. So they are kind of on a rebuild, build up. So I would say those three are big for us, in our area.
Well, that's exciting, I think, for people to hear there's more than just one path or one opportunity of where these jobs may be coming.
Yeah. And of course, IT, cybersecurity is really big. So you're finding more and more companies are hiring, cybersecurity because there are threats and things have happened.
Every day.
For us, we're required to have so much security because we have a lot of personal identifying information. So, there's several, I think. And I think that the opportunities are endless, but we don't have enough workers. I can say that. So,
and I think sometimes, in my opinion, a lot of what holds people back may be just the fear of what we talked about earlier with debt. And you had mentioned that sometimes the training opportunities, or the school opportunities can't be paid for by the company, but take it a step back a little bit and then training, can that be paid for?
Yeah. So there's a couple ways the workforce boards can support an employer. If an employer is hiring someone new and they're going to start on day one, we can do what's considered an on-the-job training contract. That means that when somebody comes in to start, they're going to learn whether it's the onboarding process and then learning. They're going to be a machine operator, so they're going to go through all these steps. And so at the end, they'll write a plan and they'll say, he's going to start on day one. And on 6 months from now, here's what he's going to be able to do. What we can do is reimburse that company for 50% of those wages up to $8,000 or 6 months, whichever comes first. That would be for a new hire. And obviously, employers have a hard time finding new employees. So what they're doing are cross-training their existing employers. So now Amy has to do 2 jobs instead of 3 jobs, or 3 jobs instead of 4 jobs, whatever it is. I think I went backwards. But what that means is I can be reimbursed. If you're going to send me to school, so I'm a machine operator, but now I need to learn how to run the laser.
Yes.
So you're going to send me to school to learn how to run the laser. We also can reimburse them for a percentage based on the size. So if you have less than 50, we can pay 90%. If you have 50 to 75, or 50 to 100, you can get 75%. And anything over 100, we can reimburse you 50%. So as an employer, we all know that they're cross-training their people. They have to because there's not enough workers. So a majority of our money has actually been spent this year on our employers in that respect, what we call incumbent worker training, where you're upskilling your current workforce. So,
and is there anything else I'm not asking about workforce development that you would want to share, or possibly even a misconception that you would like to clear up?
I think one of them is, I think a lot of times companies will come here. We're working with a company now and they want to hire, 300 people, which sounds wonderful. We can't grow people. Our population is what our population is. So, I always tell people the only way we could help you is if we could grow people, because you need more people. I get it. So I think sometimes they think when they come to workforce that we can solve that issue. Well, that's one issue we can try to help you meet it. We can try to, whatever, but we're not able to produce more people.
Plucking someone off a tree.
Yeah, there's a lot of stealing, poaching employees back and forth. And I get that, but I think that's it. I think sometimes they think that we're going to be like, oh, here's 1,000 workers.
Sure.
It doesn't work like that. So that's it. I guess that's probably one of the misconceptions, if I had to talk about that. So
Amy, if people want more information, whether they are a job seeker or an employer, where can they go to learn more about the Southwest Corner?
They could go to the Southwest Corner WDB, or they can go to Pennsylvania Career Link, and I'll take them both sites. We'll take them both places.
Beautiful. Everything's online, right? Just the way we need it to be. Amy, thank you for your time and all of your insights. We appreciate you being here today. Thank you also for joining us for this discussion, and we look forward to seeing you next time. Stay tuned.